Hello and welcome back. This little video is about offsetting the center of a mix. It's come about because I was asked a specific question by somebody who said when he's on landing approach at say 1/4 throttle, can the throttle adjust the elevator trim so that if he has to open up the power, it puts in a little bit of down trim to stop the model ballooning? Yes, of course we can. That sounds like a throttle to elevator mix, but of course a straightforward version would work from this mid throttle, not from quarter throttle. So all we need to do is offset the center of the mixing. I'll show you why we do it and how easy it is to do that. And you can use this sort of offset center perhaps in other situations. For instance, if you wanted to mix flaps to something or whatever. Let's take a little look. We're going to fine tuning, free mixes. We'll add from the throttle. And I'm going to suggest you don't want a throttle asymmetric mix for this one. So we'll take that out. To the elevator, come down to the advanced. To start with, we'll just give it a master value of 100%. In fact, we'll leave it there as well because the curve will do what we want to do. So we do that, one click. I'll assign a switch for it so that I can show you the effect of it. And if you were using this on a sort of throttle on a landing approach, you might well want to be able to switch this on and off. So let's just assign a switch. We've done that. Okay, let's have a look at what the effect of that is. So if we have a look at our servo monitor, channel 1 is the throttle. Channel 3 is the elevator. There's up, there's down. And the mix is off, so operate the throttle. I'll put the throttle to the middle, switch the mixer on, see no effect on the elevator, but now as we open the throttle, we're getting elevator that way and elevator that way. Okay, now, so the mix is working from the midpoint of the throttle, but the request was for the mix to be working from quarter throttle, which is minus 50% throttle. So how do we do that? How do we get this to be 0 on the elevator when the throttle's at minus 50? Well, we can simply offset the curve. Press this button here. Here's our curve at the moment, standard curve. That shows the input and output. So throttle stick is the left, right. The output value is the up, down. So that's what it's doing to the mix at the moment. Let's change it to a 3-point. Come into the curve, come up to the midpoint, and now using the left-right buttons, we can move the programming point to minus 50%. And there we are. There is the offset. The 0 point is now at 1/4 throttle. Let's prove it by looking at the servo output. So there we are. With the throttle at minus 50%, our output is now 0. Remember before it was at minus 50? Now it's at 0. And if I switch the mixer off, you'll see that that doesn't change. Switch the mixer on, there we're fine. And now if I push the throttle all the way forward, the mixer will start pushing in, up to there. We come back. The mix goes to 0 at quarter throttle. Bring us all the way back. Now we're there. So obviously we don't want the throttle to be moving the elevator those sort of distances. So rather than do it in the master value, it's easier to do it in the curve because it's more precise and you can get independent points there. Come back to our curve. That's the closed throttle position. Let's just say for the moment you didn't want the throttle to have any effect on trim below the quarter throttle point. Okay, we'll take that up to 0. Press the button, and we'll say that if you manage to go up to full throttle, you wanted, let's say 5% down trim. Okay, let's have a look at the effect here. Right, so from minus 100% throttle to minus 50% throttle, which is 1/4 of the throttle open, there should be no effect on the elevator trim. There we go. And only now, from quarter throttle onwards, will the elevator trim start to move very slowly, because at full throttle it should reach 5%. And there you are. So the mix is taking effect from there, quarter throttle, rather than from there, half throttle. And of course, if you wanted, bring it to the curve, you could move the first point down a little bit so that if you come below quarter throttle, it applied a little bit more up elevator if you wanted it to. You would just come down to the curve, oops, into there, and move it to whatever value you want. Should you find that it's mixing the wrong way to your elevator, you could either swap these endpoint values around or change that master value to minus 100%, and then it would simply swap things around. Okay, and that's it. A very simple way to offset the center of a mixing.